Welcome to Sports Scene, a new season and an exciting time for Scottish football. And for this show, an earlier slot, an hour-long programme and enhanced coverage as well. And while the Premiership looks like being more competitive than ever, Michael Stewart and Stephen Thompson certainly won't be giving an inch in the studio either. Let's get straight to the action. Plenty of hype surrounding the start of this new season. Champion Celtic under Brendan Rodgers will begin their title defence away at Hearts. Your match commentator is Liam McLeod.
Well, this time last year, Hearts won their opening 5 league matches of the season. They're going to have to go some. They're going to get anywhere close to that. A very difficult beginning to the campaign for the Jambos, as Celtic look for 6 in a row. Very positive look to that Hearts side. Nicholson and Walker will aim to supply Salmon and former Celt Tony Watt, scorer of that oh-so-famous goal against Barcelona, who makes his debut against his old team. Captain Öztürk is banned. Scott Sinclair is officially a Celtic player. He's a substitute today. Kolo Toure gets his first start, with midweek hero Dembele also in the team. Patrick Roberts is injured. Blow for Celtic not being able to call upon Patrick Roberts this afternoon. Picked up an injury against Astana. Scored a few against Hearts last season as well, but James Forrest playing on the right wing's done well to find McGregor. Celtic have options here. It's Forrest! The champions are off and running! An outstanding goal from James Forrest. Well, he's looked more like himself in the European ties as the Scotland man. Worked it well with McGregor, and this is quality par excellence from James Forrest, away from the despairing Jack Hamilton. And Celtic's bid for 6 in a row is well on its way. Here's Walker. Had some space there. Patterson. It's what? It's wide. He wrote himself into Celtic legend with that goal against the great Barcelona. That's a big chance to score against his former employers. He should have done. His manager thinks so too. Big chance goes a-begging. Really beginning to close in on that as that comes right through to Griffiths over the keeper! And wide of the goal. 2 ginormous chances in less than a minute for either team. Griffiths somehow found himself in behind the Jam Tarts rear guard, and he's normally so deadly from there. Should be 2-0 after it should have been 1-1. Botched clearance by O'Connell. Then it comes off Brown. That's Tony Watt. Back to Walker, who goes down. Penalty! Oh, Mikael Lustig and the rest of the Celtic defence, Kieran Tierney included, protest their innocence here. But Jamie Walker has gone down under the challenge of Tierney, who won a penalty for Celtic against Astana in similar fashion in midweek. Jamie Walker. All erupts. A sea of white and maroon, and it is Heart of Midlothian 1, Celtic 1. Walker from the spot. Coolest man in Tynecastle. Lovely penalty from him, and it all stemmed from this. Well, there's not much in it. John Beaton was in no doubt whatsoever that that is a penalty kick. That's gone over the head of Patterson. That's Dembele, who's done well. He shrugs off Suter. Griffiths is there. How on earth did that stay out? Igor Rossi Well, Griffiths didn't hit it particularly well, but you still fancy that to go in. Rossi stretching all his neck muscles. Shooter. Watt. Nicholson to his left. Watt fancies it himself! Great save, Craig Gordon. And the Hearts supporters appreciative of Tony Watt in particular in this first half. And it will be a debut for the man who's just signed this weekend, Scott Sinclair. So a youth player under Brendan Rodgers at Chelsea. Hearts fans appealing for everything, as you do. Well, that's come through from Muirhead. The Celtic defence stopped. Robbie Muirhead goes down. John Beaton says no penalty. Hearts denied a spot kick, having got one in the first. Well, it would have been very soft. In it comes. It's away by Toure. Now Griffiths scampers after it. And he's got Sinclair waiting for it if he can find him. Sinclair is in the middle. It is Scott Sinclair! It is a dream debut! A summer-long chase! And that is why they brought him to the club. Celtic have been under the cosh. But as they always do, they demonstrate why they are the champions. Hearts have had chances. Scott Sinclair needed just one to justify already his big bucks move to Parkhead. Wonderful, clever finish. And Brendan Rodgers watches his new signing score in his maiden Celtic appearance. Here's Joom. And Cowie. Good play by Don Cowie. Saved by Gordon. Boivin. Cowie, who's put in a tireless shift as captain today, and it comes spectacular effort there from Boivin. I wonder if they get another chance. They've had a couple there in quick succession, Hearts. Don Cowie stinging the fingertips of Craig Gordon. Hearts sunk by Sinclair. The new Celtic signing with the winner. Brendan Rodgers opens his domestic account as Celtic manager with a victory. They were made to work for it today, though. James Forrest with the opener for the champions early on. Cancelled out by a disputed Jamie Walker penalty. But after wonderful set-up play by Lee Griffiths, Scott Sinclair in his debut scores the winning goal on his first Celtic appearance. It finishes here in the capital. Heart of Midlothian 1, Celtic 2.
First half we pressed them really well, we dominated the game, created a lot of chances, and we got done in the counter-attack, and then second half as well, counter-attack done us. But you know, we're a group of young players that are progressing. You know, a lot of guys, young Scottish players that come through the academy, and you know, we're playing against guys that are coming for $4 million. You know, so to play against them and have them panicking, you know, having to bring these kind of guys on, it was great for our perspective. The performance was great. Disappointed with the result, but you have to accept it, you know, and move on.
We maybe could have been 2 or 3 up. Dubious penalty. Well, it was clear, and in fairness to the referee, he said he'd made the mistake, which, you know, at least he was big enough to admit that. But we had to then show character and mentality in the second half to come back, and the players accepted the risk we put into the game in the last 20 minutes, you know, by being super offensive, getting attacking players on the field, and then we eventually break through on a quick counter-attack. So, yeah, delighted for the players that they get the rewards for having the bravery to want to win the game.
Just a fantastic match in terms of pure entertainment. Michael Stewart, how big a factor was Brendan Rodgers in that victory for Celtic?
I think he was huge, you know, on a couple of fronts. The fact that, you know, I think the Celtic players look at a manager now and believe that he knows what he's doing. And also, you know, tactically, you look at what he did, and he spoke about it there, going offensive. He went to 3 at the back when Hearts were playing 1 up front. And I think that whole combination adds to the belief that Celtic won that game, whereas last year under Ronnie Deila, I'm not sure whether they would have won that game. You know, they won plenty of games where they played well, but I'm not sure they won too many when they were not in top form, and that was certainly what happened today.
Stephen, let's get straight to the controversy. Great strike from James Forrest, but should it have stood?
No, not in our opinion anyway. Armstrong's clearly in an offside position, and he's in the way of the goalkeeper, clearly. I'm just wondering whether the referee hesitates here, thinking it was going to be a penalty kick. Yeah. But the angle here clearly shows that it's 100% in the keeper's.
And you see the referee's view.
Of course, I mean, his unobstructed view of Armstrong and Jack Hamilton right behind them, there is no doubt that that should have been a disallowed goal.
The linesman was in a good position. The linesman probably could have helped him out. The linesman's looking along and he can see.
I know the point that Stephen's making about, in fact, that John Beaton might have been thinking, oh, I've allowed that play on, it could have been a penalty. But the fact that he's looking unobstructed at Armstrong standing in front of Jack Hamilton should have been enough for him to disallow that.
He actually pauses after it's given, after the goal stands. He pauses for a couple of seconds to make his mind up for sure, and then turns.
It's all about interfering with play, and if we look at the laws of the game, Law 11, it's almost a carbon copy, actually, what happened today at Tynecastle with Stuart Armstrong.
You drew it up on the computer in the office earlier on.
The ball even goes in the right part of the net as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, that quite clearly shows that, you know, the law changed at the start of last season so that the player doesn't have to touch the ball to be interfering with play. And quite clearly that's what happened at Tynecastle today. Stuart Armstrong interfered in play because he was affecting Jack Hamilton's view.
He actually moves his body position to get out the way of the ball. So he was obviously in direct line of the ball and the keeper's vision, so 100% shouldn't have stood.
Huge controversy in terms of the Hearts goal as well. Scott Brown has described Jamie Walker as a cheat after this.
Words.
Did Jamie Walker dive?
Did Jamie Walker dive? Oh, well, 100% he dived. It was a massive dive. There's 0 contact, and it's a Tom Daly special. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, cheat's a strong word.
Here,
but
you see John Beaton looking there. I've got some sympathy with John Beaton because his line of sight, he doesn't see the gap between the players.
Yeah.
As he's looking at that, he is, you know, interpreting that move because it's, you know, it's a good dive from Jamie Walker.
Dive.
You know, in terms of if he had made contact. If he had made contact, that's how he would have fallen. But again, it's poor play from Jamie Walker. You can't do things like that. It's unacceptable.
Again, Michael, the linesman is right in view with it. Yeah. He's got a different view. They've got to help each other. It's big decisions in matches.
So it should have been 0-0. And it should have finished 1-0 and a dream debut for the big signing, Scott Sinclair.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you heard Robbie Nielsen talking about the fact that, you know, bringing on £4 million, you know, players, and that's the big difference. But you look at this, the pace and power that Scott Sinclair drives forward with. Great play from Lee Griffiths as well. I'm not sure about the defending from Reiras, but that's the big thing that with Patrick Roberts out the side, that's why he was a really important sign to get him in now for the Champions League. Somebody with that pace and you know, clearly a composed finisher as well.
Fantastic victory for Celtic. St John's